Jedi to end.
That's the crux of my problem. Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars, so I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker.
Hey guys, this is Luke from the Scoundrels Cantina, and welcome to another episode of A Star Wars Story. In this video, my good friend Todd, aka the other Scoundrel, will be having the honors in telling you the story of the legendary Jake Skywalker, who is most notably seen in the two best Star Wars movies of all time, The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Everything in this video is officially canon, so anyway, let us begin.
Jake Skywalker was born in the year 2012 when Disney bought Lucasfilm, but was then known as Luke Skywalker. Jake's story starts about 4 years after the Battle of Yavin, when the Rebellion wins the greatest victory in galactic history, the Battle of Endor. During the battle, the Force is finally brought into balance, the tyranny of the Empire was no more, and there was finally peace in the galaxy, making it the perfect happy ending. After the celebration on Endor, the first steps of Jake come into existence because somehow the dark side, also known as Kathleen Kennedy and her pawns, decide that there needs to be more war because peace doesn't make money. So not long after the Battle of Endor, Luke Skywalker is called by the Force to the planet Pilia, although without knowing why. When he arrives, he gets attacked by Imperials and enters a cave where he hears cries for help, which came from Del Meeko, a member of Imperial Special Forces called Inferno Squad. He helps him and finds out about the Emperor's observatory, which was full of Force relics. By this time, he is still himself as Luke, and not Jake.
Why'd you help me?
Because you asked.
He and the Imperial would fight their way through the wildlife, eventually reaching the secret observatory of the Emperor, where Luke would acquire a special compass, after which the two went their separate ways in peace. Around 5 ABY, Luke would travel alongside a rebel called Shara Bey to the planet Vatine to retrieve a fragment of the Force-sensitive tree that once dwelt at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. Since the tree was kept in an Imperial facility, they would have to fight their way out of the base, eventually escaping with it. Still, there was almost no sign of Jake. The same year, Leia would give birth to Ben Solo, Luke's nephew who inherited the incredible Skywalker Force sensitivity. In the following years, Luke would travel the galaxy in search of Jedi knowledge with the help of Lor San Tekka, a member of the Church of the Force who believed that the Jedi were necessary for there to be balance in the Force. Because you know, Anakin Skywalker as the Chosen One didn't change shit. Luke's first apprentice would be his sister, Leia Organa Solo, who he taught the basics of the Force, after which she decided to simply be a politician. At some point, Luke finally set out to begin training a new generation of Jedi and rebuild the Jedi Order. One of his many Padawans was his nephew, Ben, who felt a pull to the dark side because of a being called Snoke, who was influencing him from afar. Luke sensed this and one night began to probe Ben's mind as he slept, seeing the potential darkness in him. In an instant, Luke reacted out of fear of what might happen and ignited his lightsaber to strike his nephew down. The Jedi that redeemed the irredeemable Darth Vader couldn't see the good in his nephew and for a moment decided to kill him, although immediately regretted it. It was too late. Ben woke up and pulled out his lightsaber in self-defense, attacking Luke as well as pulling the Hutt down on him. When Skywalker woke, his Jedi temple was burning and all of his students were either dead or joined Ben. It was at this moment that Luke died and Jake had taken his place. Jake would cut himself off from the Force and disappear from the galaxy in search of the first Jedi temple so that he would simply die there, all the while the galaxy was in peril from the First Order. It was believed that he was still the legendary Luke Skywalker and that he would return again to turn the tide in the war. For some reason, there were pieces of a map that led to him, and Kylo Ren and his master Snoke wanted to find it in order to kill him. In 34 ABY, R2-D2, who was left with the New Rebellion, Resistance, would suddenly wake up from his low power mode and have the final piece of the map to Luke. By that time, Han Solo was replaced by Rey, aka an all-knowing and all-powerful nobody from the planet Jakku, who was given the map to Luke, his father's lightsaber, and the Millennium Falcon. When she arrived, Luke's most epic intro happened, but after 2 years of staring at each other,
you were deceived.
it was actually Jake all along. He then refused to help Rey, the Resistance, and even his sister, Leia Organa. In the end, Jake agreed to give Rey a few lessons, but only because of R2. During her so-called training sessions, Jake would teach her about the Force and the reasons why the Jedi need to end once and for all.
It's time for the Jedi to end.
Not to mention blaming the prequels and his old master Obi-Wan Kenobi for everything instead of looking at himself. Jake then told Rey what happened with his nephew Ben, although lied about his actions during those events. Rey eventually heard the other side of the story from Kylo Ren's point of view through their Force bond, while Jake decided to connect with the Force once more. Jake then witnessed the two of them in a hut, and a duel ensued with him and Rey. Jake managed to disarm her, but was ultimately beaten when she force-pulled his father's lightsaber. He then told her the full truth of what happened and how he became the Jake he is today. Rey would tell him that there is still light in Kylo, although Jake completely disagreed. She then left Ahch-To and the Falcon, and out of anger, Jake decided to destroy the Jedi tree that contained ancient Jedi knowledge. He would be greeted by the spirit of Yoda, who eventually taught him a very important lesson, but not before burning down the tree himself.
The greatest teacher failure is.
Because of this, Jake, who's now trying to be Luke again, force projected himself from Ahch-To to appear on the planet Crait, where the Resistance was fighting for their survival. He now went Tommy Wiseau and said, "Oh hi Leia,"
Oh hi Mark,
and reconciled with her, after which he went to confront Kylo Ren in order to buy the Rebels, Resistance, some time. As the First Order started to fire at him, everyone thought that wannabe Luke was incredibly powerful, although it was all an illusion. Kylo went to confront him himself and learned that Jake believed that he was irredeemable. Ren would engage Jake, but Skywalker simply danced around him and even went full Matrix, evading every strike. In the end, Kylo realized that this was just a forced projection of Jake. Skywalker taunted his nephew a bit more before his image faded into nothingness. Back on Ahch-To, Jake collapsed from exhaustion because of the forced projection and decided to have a heart attack while looking at the binary sunset of Ahch-To's twin sons. He was so powerful that the use of his power killed him and let him become one with the Force.
Ironic.
His sacrifice managed to save the 20 remaining Resistance survivors that all managed to fit onto the Millennium Falcon and give birth to the newest rebellion. Oh shit, we forgot the best part of Jake's story.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Okay, but now seriously guys.
Hashtag not our Luke, hashtag not our canon. Anyway, this is it on this horribly put together video, and still we hope you enjoyed it, since you can probably clearly see what this actually was. If you want to see some actual quality storytelling and good content, hop onto our other channel where we do lore videos on the Lord of the Rings / Hobbit, Warcraft, Pirates of the Caribbean, and much more. Also, if you want to see our true thoughts about the story we covered in this video, the links for it will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching guys, and remember, this is how you lose subscribers. You rebel scum.
This party's over.